Pilates here. Okay, so let's see. This is going to go to Facebook Live. Did it do it? Okay, we're on. And this is going to go. Okay. All right, so hopefully people can hear me. I'll do it like this. Okay, you guys, so welcome. I'm so glad you're here. So my name is Ralph Havens, and hi, Susan. So if you don't want to be on video, then don't be here. I'm going to be working on somebody and doing a demo, and then it'll be available for people to see later too. But what we're going to be doing is seeing who that is. Oh, Greg, good deal, man.
I think someone else is coming.
Yeah.
Silly Katie.
Okay, I think we're good. Okay, so yeah, so welcome everybody. So the name of this thing is Autoimmune Answers, and the often missing link to helping people overcome them. And so in the 33 years of doing my work, and I started off as a physical therapist, and then integrated manual therapist, and then energy medicine person, I've found that if you have a bunch of people, like 100 people that have a certain condition, or say 10 people that have a certain condition, and some of them are going to do really well. You give them exercises, you give them techniques, you do extra things for them, and they're going to do really well. And then other people, the same condition, the same kind of problem, the same kind of treatment, and hey, no problem, PJ. They're not going to do so well, or they're going to actually do even worse. And no matter what they try, they don't seem to overcome it. And so one of the things that I found was the mental, emotional, spiritual stuff. Like, what happened to somebody in their past, if they had an abusive past, if they had a bunch of stuff that happened to them, if they had a lot of beliefs that came in, maybe their dad or their mom said things a certain way, and then it became installed as a belief. And so over the years of doing this, I've come across many ways to work on it, and it's been really good. And there's ways to do it, and you can get very specific about what it is and what age it was and all these things. And you can use energy work, and you can use homework that they can do for themselves. And so then I saw something about, I don't know, quite a few months ago, maybe half a year or more ago. And this guy was showing this technique. And it was just, actually one of my friends who's an energy medicine guy in San Diego saw it. And he said, "Oh, Ralph, it's too simple. It's like we do so much more advanced stuff." But yet this guy was having these big miracles, and all sorts of stuff was happening. Christian Michelson. So I saw his stuff, and I got on his email list and started following him a bit. And he helped me in a lot of ways. But I saw this thing, and I thought, oh, it's too simple. And so I let it go, and I let it go a few, no problem. Yeah, I would let it go for more time. But I kept seeing it again and again and again. And so then I finally, it's a funny story, but I guess I could tell it. I bought his book, and I clicked one button, I just wanted to see what the button would do. And all of a sudden it said, "Congratulations, you've just bought his course." And I'm like, oh my goodness, I just bought his course. So I started to do it. And I X'd out of it really quickly. But I said, Jen, my wife, I said, I think I might have X'd out of it before it came, but they sent me the course. And then she looked and she said, "Oh, you bought the course." So there I was going through his stuff, and stuff changed so fast for us with the abundance thing, the money thing, and with clients getting me more, and people understanding me, and a doctor even from Bellingham was calling and trying to get a hold of me, and they got a hold of me that he wanted to send people to me. And so it was like, wow, I wasn't working on that per se. I was doing this thing to shift mental, emotional, spiritual stories using this very simple technique. And so my wife was like, "What are you doing? Because it's working now." So, it was working pretty good before, but it got really a whole nother level. And so I was using it with my clients, and he taught us how to do it. And it was just a whole nother level of goodness. Like, this works faster, bigger, no matter how much of a story there is in the past, you know, what happened to somebody. So, so that's what I want to share tonight. Does that sound pretty good?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Okay, so I want to just check in, and if you don't want to be, this is a unidirectional mic, so hopefully people are hearing me, but over on there, they shouldn't be hearing too much. But if you're concerned about being on an audio, then maybe don't say anything, and later I can talk to you too. But if you're comfortable, I'd love to hear what things, and some of you, I know some of the stuff that some people are dealing with, so if you don't want to say something, it's totally cool. But if anybody wants to say, hey, you know what, if I could shift this tonight, you know, maybe some condition, or if something could be done for you tonight, does anybody have anything they'd like to share?
Yes, I'm working on It's Okay to Be a Published Author.
Cool. I could see that for you. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Okay. Anybody else? Great.
But the financial thing is always present.
Okay, cool. And you want to make money on your book?
Oh, yes.
Okay, great. Okay, we got a pattern here. Okay, good. It's about autoimmune, and but it can be about anything, because it's you guys. You guys are the ones that are here. And I know Susan and some of the stuff you're working with. So if you guys, the other part about this is, even if you don't say what it is, it's still included, because you're in here with this pattern, with this field, with this stuff. So it'll be really cool to see what changes for you. Okay, so let me just think for a minute here. So so what I'm going to be doing is using something that I use with clients and that I teach clients. And it's pretty easy to learn, but it's so easy that it's easy to poo-poo it like I did, or it's easy to just kind of like get distracted, because you should be doing something important instead of this thing. So I'm going to guide somebody through it here, so that you can see the shifts. And along with it, I'm going to be doing something called Instant Miracle, which is a technique that I do for people, I do for clients. So I'm going to be doing it for whoever's up here, but you're included because you're here, or if you guys are here, or if you can hear me, I hope you can hear me. So, so that, how does that sound? Does it make sense?
Yes.
Good. Are we good? Does it sound valuable? Any questions? Okay, good deal.
I have a question.
Yeah, Lynn.
Do you know who Kristen learned this from?
Yes. So really interesting, because he's you might know him a bit. He's a business coach, but he has this book by Hay House called Abundance Unleashed, and so that's what attracted me to it. You know, my work is kind of in that world, and so as he was showing it, he told one of his teachers, Raphael Kushner with a K, and he has a book called Unconditional Bliss that he wrote after, I guess, a devastating loss, and then he wrote this book, and after figuring out a bunch of stuff, and then this other book that I have called Setting Your Heart on Fire, and his big thing is feel everything, and you'll see why in a minute. And then there was also another guy, Tom Stone.
Yes.
It sounds like Tom Stone.
It sounds like Tom Stone.
Yeah, so that guy also had it. It's the same technique.
Yeah.
And then I was working on one of my clients, and he goes, "Oh, this is a technique from Zen. I don't even know what Zen is. I mean, like Zen, Buddhism. It's like I know it's something." And then another client from San Diego said, "Oh, it's she used a word that started, I think, with a V, like some long word, and then yoga. It's like this yoga technique." And I'm like, wow. And then I saw that it's in a book that Deepak wrote. It's like a paragraph in one book. It's the book that has the word grace and power in it. It's in that book. And then it's in Eckhart Tolle's book. And I read Eckhart Tolle's New Earth numerous times.
Yeah.
And I missed this. In fact, I kept trying to do Eckhart stuff so hard. The first time I saw Eckhart stuff, The Power of Now, I was so upset because I realized I was never in the now. It's like never. so it's like, but I kept trying to do this stuff, you know, like unattached, and how do you be unattached to something? And my friend, you guys know Jeff, of Alicia and Jeff.
Yeah.
He knew I was doing I do a once a month group online thing, Miracles, Magic, Healing, and More. And so Jen was going to go over to their house while I was doing it on Sunday. So Jeff said, you know, Jen was like, you know, we don't have to go. If you guys are busy, we don't have to go. We can go hike around. But if you would like to see us, we'd like to come over and see you. So Jeff said, oh, so you're unattached to what you really want, huh? I thought that, I said I'd give him credit. So I was trying for so many years to try to do this unattached thing, and what you resist persists. So don't resist it. And the Sarno guy, like I know Greg's into that sort of stuff. Like your mind has so much more control or power over stuff if you don't buy into having a certain thing. So Christian learned it from all those people. Actually, he learned from Raphael Kushner and Tom Stone. But then he started finding out it's also from Deepak, and it's also from Eckhart Tolle, and come to find out it's like thousands of years old. So,
yeah,
interesting, huh? Yeah. Okay, so let's see. Who? Anybody have an anxiety issue? You're like a rock and roll. Okay, so I'm kind of picking up that might be something to shift to. But yeah, so anybody have an autoimmune condition? Since that's
I do.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, I've got psoriasis. It's pretty mild. I've had it since I was 14. Always fairly mild, and then I had a huge flare up. I don't remember if you saw me when I was all flared up last year.
I think I saw you when you were more than now, but yeah, it wasn't like severe. I mean, I don't know where you were before.
I had big red lesions all over, smelled like a rat. I was doing that, and I'm not sure what exactly knocked it out. It was just kind of chilling out and changing my diet, and now it's in remission. I mean, it looks better than it has in 25 years, but it still lingers.
So it still lingers. So that's an autoimmune thing.
Have just a little bit, and so.
Okay, you're the first on the list. Incurable. Okay. Oh, I love that. Okay. Cool. Anybody else have anything particular in that realm of, since that's the title, but everything's included. Okay. All right. So let's see. So
the main thing for me is just continuing on with the gluing my body back together. Mm-hmm. And it's continuing. It's getting better gradually, but I don't know if that has anything to do with the autoimmune fits in.
Well, when I think of autoimmune, I think of it's a self against self, right? Like you're attacking yourself, which is probably pretty much everything. So maybe we'll do a couple of demos and see. Yeah, as long as you're okay being up here and maybe being on seeing. Oh, there's somebody on the chat room. There's somebody watching. Let's see. Oh, Alan. Hey, man. Good to see you. Really good to see you. Can you hear me? Alan is a great chiropractor in San Diego who's done matrix and all sorts of amazing things.
Sweet.
Yeah. Let me just look at this. Anybody have anything else to say? Okay. Hi there, Denise. Okay. All right. So I think maybe we get into it, huh? Like do it? Okay. So what we can do, I noticed this. Oh, let me just back up. Let me tell you a little bit, just a short version. Some of you have heard this numerous times, my story, but it's like how I'm sitting here in Bellingham instead of San Diego, because I lived in San Diego from 1985 until 2011. And I had built up a nice practice, 5 therapists working for me. I lived in an upscale part of town, Mission Hills, had Mission Hills physical therapy. I drove an Audi, like life was good. I had a hot girlfriend, Jen. And so things were good. And before that, I had gotten into some really cool therapies. And the way I found it was I couldn't run. So back I was 37, I'm 58 now, almost 59. I was 37 and I was used to running 70, 80, 90 miles a week since I was a little kid. And I ran in high school, ran in college, loved to compete. But I loved to train even more. And one of the things I did it for was because I had a terrible anxiety problem. And it showed up as a real sweating problem. I would sweat in my hands and my feet. People looked at me funny. If there was big guys got me, and important rich people and powerful people and doctors. So if they were around, it's like, oh God. So I was in this terrible spot, because I had a job where I was going to be putting my hands on people. And but for some reason, that's the job I picked. I thought because it would let me run a lot. I thought this will be a job I can run with. Pardon me. So there I was. And then all of a sudden I couldn't run. I had this lower leg injury, a spasm in my leg that wouldn't let me run. So I tried all the stuff. I had a couple of therapists at the time then, maybe one or two, but they worked on me. I went to classes. I went to therapists. Nobody could fix this. And this was going on for months and months and months and months. I could go 5 minutes and then I'd have to walk home. And this was my identity. I was a runner. Plus it controlled my anxiety. If I could run 70, 80 miles a week, I was like pretty okay, at least enough to where people didn't notice and I'd be okay. But there was 6, 7 months and I couldn't run. And so I finally found this medical intuitive, Sharon G. Mateo, the late Sharon G. Mateo now, and took one of her classes and was like, oh, this is pretty good. And so I went up to LA to see Julie Shishino, a therapist that was doing her work in a big way. And ended up running one of her 14 centers that she had around the world. And so I went up there and Julie put one hand on my foot and said, oh, you have a problem with your arteries, with your heart. And I was coming for a lower leg thing. So she worked on me for 2 hours and it all went away. I went for a run a couple of days later, actually like the next day, because I was in Sacramento for a class, I remember, on the American River. And I took in my running stuff because I was like, I think I feel better. And I went for a run, 30 minutes, it wasn't there, never came back. And so I started taking these classes, 110 classes over 10 years, that from this medical intuitive and her people, and through osmosis and also through lots of studying, I learned how to do her stuff. And I saw that if you could get to the root cause, in my case, it was my heart, and help that heal, help that shift, do what you do to make that better, then what the body was protecting it with, like in my case, my leg muscles were spasming to protect my heart. That's a pretty smart body, right? It's protecting a heart using something that's less important, like the muscles of the legs. And so once this got fixed up, that's how Sharon used to talk, fixed up, I could get my running back. So I was going along like that, doing all this really cool work and building up lots of, therapists were coming. We had more therapists. We always had people on the table. We were doing great. And then around 2011, I got what I thought was a running injury, and I couldn't run. I had terrible bone pain in my leg. And then I started getting, and nobody could fix me. All my great therapists, all the great stuff I was going to, it's like, what is going on? And then worse than that, they were starting to tell me, your kidneys are having a problem, your liver, your GI tract, you better go make sure you don't have cancer. I went to a DO, and she checked, she said, I don't think you have cancer. And I went to my acupuncturist, I don't think you have cancer, but I don't know what you have. But it's, so everybody's working on my liver, my kidneys, my GI tract. And so a year and a half goes by and I'm getting worse and worse. It got to the point where I did one treatment that was kind of weird. I won't even tell you what it was, but I did this thing that the Gerson Institute recommends, which is a really great center down in San Diego that helps people with cancer and through nutrition and other stuff. And so I was doing this other thing that they recommended, and then I could barely walk 10 minutes to Whole Foods and back. I was like wobbling on my legs, and I was used to running 3, 4, 5 hour runs. So there I was, and Jen and I were even talking about, like, we're having a baby. If you die, what are you going to do? What are we doing? And I was like, I'm just going to get in my car. I'm going to go to Vancouver because I love Vancouver. And I thought of leaving my wife. I thought of crazy stuff. You start to go crazy. And so then I found out what it was. And it was one toxin. It was fluoride. They'd started adding it to the water. And I had these machines that supercharged the water, Kangen machines. And it put the fluoride in my body really strongly. Mm-hmm. And so it went right to my bones. And so then I got good well water from San Diego, alkaline spring water from Carlsbad, alkaline spring water comes out of the ground. It's great. And then we got filters, so it wouldn't be hurting. It wouldn't be coming into the house, so I could bathe in it. And I was like, I'm getting well. I still couldn't run. And so another months and months go by, and my good friend Ben, Feldenkrais practitioner, also really cool guy in San Diego, he found an ancient remedy from Australia, and he said, try this. And 3 days later, I was back to running. And so I was like, okay, this is good. But I read the research. I looked at the documentaries about fluoride, and I'm like, 600% more chance of osteosarcoma, bone cancer in little boys if they grow up in an area that's fluoridated. It's like, we're out of here. So we sold the car. We stopped the business. we sold Jen's car, we bought a truck, we bought a tent, and we hit the road in June. And October, Halloween weekend of 2011, months later, we ended up here. It's like, okay, Bellingham. So here's another part that's going to come right back to the autoimmune part of this whole thing. So also, Alan can hear us. So I get up here, and I was telling these guys that I quit taking insurance because I was just done with it. It was just a very strange system. Reimbursements were going down. Therapists were wanting more money. I wanted to do hour-long treatments. It was going to be like you either do a sort of a physical therapy mill and see people 15 or 20 minutes at a time, or you just, do it. And so when we came up here, I thought, if we ever do anything again, it'll be cash-based, which it is now. But at the time, we came up here and I had no way to make money and nobody knew me. And I didn't have very many people that I saw at a distance at the time. Mostly it was in person. And so we thought, okay, we took a workshop on how to build earthen houses. Because we thought, okay, we're checking out, man. You got yourself well, you're not going to die. Let's go live clean. And so, a city person, it's like, we're going to go build a house out of earth and grow food. So we get up here and we find a place out by Mount Baker. And here's the crazy part, the self against self part. We got this house that looked like it was a little stretch for money, but we thought, we sold our house in San Diego. We can get this house. We'll build some earthen houses. Maybe we'll rent this house. We'll grow some food. We'll live low key. You'll see some people over energy stuff over the internet, and we'll have this simple life. And so we moved in and we started getting sick. Me, my wife, and my little boy started getting sick. We had problems breathing. My wife was getting this autoimmune rash on her face. I was getting really crampy in my legs and just feeling like weird and breathing stuff. There was one time that I felt like I was so out of my body. I think I'm dying. It was just like I was so out of it, kind of like if you sniff glue or something. And so short story, this is longer than I thought, but we found a lot of toxicity in this house, all sorts of stuff. And so we actually ended up sleeping outside in Washington for a year. I mean, two months in our garage, but then that was even toxic. So then it's like, okay, we're in a tent. And it was crazy, it's like, we'd be like doing our best to go to the co-op and like stay inside in places. And then we'd be working on the house and spending a ton more money, $100,000 more to fix up this house, yet we had to sleep outside. And I remember one night in particular, it's like 35 degrees and raining, and I was so mad. It was like 2:00 in the morning, and I was like, God, if I could just get in our truck and we could go to Canada right now, I would, but it'd all be on credit cards. So it's like, what am I doing? And my wife said, you have got to get happy, man, because this is not going to work. And I knew it. Like, you couldn't live in that much anger and frustration and expect life to get good, right? So I started studying with a lot of people, and you guys know Wendy Hill. She helped me a lot and taught me how to be happy first. And she helped me with some business stuff, and then I got another coach, and I started learning the money part of it. And what I found through all this was that I still had a victim thing going on, some sort of belief pattern, whatever you want to call it. And if you looked at my past, you go, oh, well, no wonder, Ralph, look at what you grew up with. And so, this pattern was not your pattern. And so there I was with this pattern, and I had done such a good job along the way, fixing up all sorts of stuff. And I run as far as I could away from this place that tried to kill me, and plot myself out by the Mount Baker Highway that you would think is pristine air and food and everything, and somehow found a house that was toxic. It's like, come on. So I was learning that, okay, I've got to fix this. Something in here is not right. I'm running a weird pattern. And I found a lot of really cool things to do that. And I still had to make money. So I had to become a therapist, in the world again, because I was like, we're not going to do earthen houses. We're still living out there, but we are going to move in. But we fixed up the house. We can live in it. It's great. In fact, we like it more than a lot of other people's houses now. But we're ready to move into town. And we realized through all that I'm a city person. I love my work, and I want to do it in a big way. So I started studying with more coaches. And what I found when I found Christian Michelson and this old technique that now he has brought to the surface for me, is a way to real quickly go to the emotional, mental, spiritual, the story of what happened to somebody, and then show them a thing that then they can have a way to do it where that story it's burned itself out. I mean, really burned itself out. It's not like there a little and you got to keep working on it. It's like it burns itself out. And many times long-standing things in a short amount of time. Like, you know, a short session. And with Instant Miracles, sometimes a very short session. What's cool is that what I'm going to show you is a way to have a way to do it for yourself too. So you can work through it and shift it. And yeah, and so what my experience with it is, I mean, does that sound cool so far?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Yeah. So my experience of it is that now when I see something that comes up as like something that pushes my buttons, it's like, oh God, I got to do this thing, or oh, this thing is like affecting you, or that guy, or I see an email pop up and it's like, oh God, it's that one. What I do is I do this peace process, and now I get to the point where it's like when that shows up, it's like, all right, it's up on the surface, man. Let's do this, and it shifts. And then a lot of times I open the email or I interact with that person and it's like, wow, it's so much better than I could have ever imagined. But even when it doesn't work out quite like I thought I wanted it to happen, I feel so much better, like at peace with it, whether it was good or bad. So kind of cool, huh? It's like it can shift stuff in the world so that what you think is something bad happening, then it can be good. Or if it still turns out to where it's not quite like you like it, it can, you're at peace with it. Cool, huh? Okay. So let's see. Anything else? I'll tell one more story, and then we'll do some stuff. So, and this was an example from before I had this peace process, but it was something that with all the other techniques where I had techniques to do to people, I still have those. But had a lady that was visiting here from another state, and her therapist in the other state wanted to find somebody to work on her when she was here for a summer. And so her therapist found me, and she came in and she had chronic pain. So neck, back, head pain, and really severe, and was stopping her from doing lots of stuff. And she was in her 60s, I believe. And she'd had a car wreck a couple years before, but it wasn't getting better. In fact, it was kind of getting worse, and just like, you know, that was that. So she was going to come see me once a week for 4 weeks. So I saw her, and the first day I can see stuff. I've been with that medical intuitive for a long time. And she showed me stuff. And so I saw deep grief in her lungs, not like the Charlie Brown deep grief, but deep grief. And so I did the techniques, not this peace process I'm going to show you. So I did things for her for an hour, and then she stood up and her neck was better and her back was better. And she came back on the second visit and said, this is really getting better. What are you doing? So that's when I told her that I'd found deep grief in her lungs, and we were clearing it out, and the body will protect of spiritual pain. It was spiritual pain. I didn't go deep into find out what it was or anything, but it was spiritual pain. And the body will do a lot to protect somebody from spiritual pain. Like it'll let somebody have a big, bad physical disease problem if there's a spiritual pain, you know, spiritual pains are. And so I told her this, and she said that she had lost two of her sons. Her two sons had died. Now I didn't ask her what happened or go into the story, because I knew I didn't need to. And I just did the techniques that I knew then, and it shifted it. And then her back was better. And the third, fourth visit, she was good. So she goes back to the out of state, and I check in with her a few months later because I see him. Does she want a Skype session? How's she doing? And she said, no, it's good. And we think we're going to move to Costa Rica. So it's like, you know, and she said, she told me on her last visit that she thinks the reason she had the car wreck was so she could have this thing and then come see me and work through this. Mm-hmm. It's like, but and that's me doing something for somebody, and I am going to do something for people up here, but I'm going to show you something that you can do for yourself that's really even faster than that stuff. Okay. So let's see. So good. Let's bring somebody up. So again, it'll be on video at some point. So if you don't want to be on video, then don't come up. And whoever does come up, be open and honest. But if there's anything you don't want to share, don't share it. Keep it to yourself. and then we'll go from there. And also, everybody that's watching on the video, or even you guys right here, you can put an intention right now. You know, it's always included no matter what. But if you want to go, you know what? If anything can change for me, I mean, right now, and keep changing and get you what you really want, what might that be? So you can just put that as your intention right now. Okay. Okay. So I think what I'll do, how do I want to do this? I'd like to work on, I was going to work on one person. I'd like to work on at least a couple people. Can I work on Greg and then Don? Can I do that? Okay, coolness. Okay, dude, come on up. Awesome, good to see you, man.
Good to see you too.
Okay, so yeah, so just whatever you want to share, you can. Whatever you don't want to share, you can. We're gonna do things to shift the skin stuff. Show me where it shows up.
You can see it on my knuckles and my knees and elbows.
Okay, knuckles, knees, and elbows.
Yeah.
Okay, you would make good stock.
Scared me.
Okay, we'll put the pot here. Okay, so all right. So let's do this thing, huh? So I'm going to walk you through it, and everybody can kind of walk themselves through it as if they're up here, if you want. And what we're going to do is go to what you truly want, what it's really all about, what's in the way. Yeah, and then go from there. So if I had a realistic magic wand and I could give it to you and you go, okay, bam, and share whatever you want to share, keep whatever you don't want to share. What kind of life would you create? Like, what would you want? You know, we want the hands and feet and knuckles, hands, knuckles, and elbows to be skin good. That thing's done. Anything else you want to say about that? Or let's start there. Anything else you want to say about that? About your health?
The psoriasis I'd love to get rid of. It really doesn't bother me all that much, but
Okay.
it's kind of this reminder that something's maybe a little off. And I have another condition that kind of just nags at me, and it's not debilitating, but it's annoying, and it's sciatica. It's like that.
Okay.
That radiating, leg pain.
The right leg pain?
The right leg, yeah. It's on and off. Sometimes I don't feel it at all. Sometimes it's not severe, but it's become chronic. It's
It's not severe, but it's been there for a while.
Yeah.
How long has it been there?
I'd say on and off for maybe 2 or 3 years now.
Okay. Is it getting better or worse, or just kind of going up and down, or?
It's not. It's just kind of lingering.
Lingering. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
It's past it. It's never gotten as bad as it once was after I sort of beat it the first time, but it did come back and linger.
Linger. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So I assume you would want that to go away, like to be totally good.
Yeah.
Would that be cool? Okay.
Yeah, it would.
And anything else that you would, if you could have a magic wand, realistic magic wand, and say, okay, if that was well, then I could do. I know you're a snowboarder. You know, anything that would be going on in your life if you could solve these things or anything else. What would anything you want to put into the mix of, say, oh, I want this, that you can share, or if you can't share it, we're going to include it anyway, without you having to say anything.
I guess I want it all.
You want it all?
More freedom from work, more time with my family, less financial stress.
Okay.
Freedom from work, freedom to do things that I enjoy, which would be more time outdoors.
Okay. Let's go there. Like, tell me about that life. And this is part of it. This is not the peace process, but this is going to get us really clear on what Greg wants. And from there we have a really good access to shift this thing tonight. What would life look like if it was like, say half a year from now and it's like it all worked, like, oh my God, Ralph, it worked. Let me tell you what happened. What would you be up to? Whatever that is.
I think I'd maybe break free of working for someone else and finally start my private practice and kind
Okay.
of get out from under the bureaucracy of working for an agency.
Okay. And what of course it can move a little and change as you kind of find your way in that. But right now, what could you see as a like, oh, this would be so cool if my my private practice, my private work was like this, and this is what my life was like. Kind of paint us a picture of what's in your heart.
I think what would be maybe the perfect picture would be kind of incorporating my my passion for the outdoors and this, that was sort of the beginning of my healing journey, and kind of combining that with the mental health work that I've kind of taken on as a trade.
Okay. And if you had it in just the way you want to have it, think about that for a moment. Think about like how many hours you'd be working, where you would be, what kind of outdoor activities you'd be doing, what kind of mental health work you'd be doing. If you had it just how you want it, tell me when you got that. Okay. And having that in just the way you want to have it, what would be the best part of having that life?
I think the best part would be like feeling like you've found your true purpose, like that feeling of being actualized, like there's no, you didn't have to settle, you did exactly what you were here to do.
Okay, got it. Okay, got it. And we haven't got to the peace process yet, but this is cool. It's cool, right? So, and what do you think is slowing you down, standing in your way, or stopping you? Could possibly be slowing you down, or stopping you, or standing in your way from getting that self-actualized. You're doing your purpose with the mental health thing, the outdoor thing.
Probably my response to stress.
Okay. And anything you want to say about that? You don't have to, but anything you want to say? Or do you have it clearly in your own mind, like what that response to stress is? And
I mean, it's hard to look at because it's like, you have to face all your own stuff.
you don't have to tell us. You don't have to share it. Can you access it right now? Can you go, oh yeah, there's what's slowing me down, standing my way. What did you call it? Your reaction to stress?
Yeah.
Yeah. Can you get a sense of how that affects you? You're doing a great job, by the way.
I think it's hard to be so open and vulnerable, but
You don't
but
have
the
to.
truth, I don't mind. I think
Okay.
it's good, and it's I
Okay.
think it's healthy. It's what I try to get people to do all day. So it's only fair.
It's only fair.
It's I think it's anger. I think I get frustrated. I get mad at how cruel and stupid the world is, and I get frustrated at my own sort of inability to deal with it. I tend to get either mad at myself or mad at the world.
Okay. That's a good window. Good. Okay. If you could solve that and flow freely to this life with using your skills, all your skills, your outdoor skills, your mental health skills, and doing your life purpose, self-actualized. If you could overcome whatever that anger and anything else attached to it is, and flow freely towards that life that you described earlier, what would that be like? How's it going in there?
Sorry, yeah.
You're feeling it, huh?
Yeah.
I think that's, go ahead, tell me what you were thinking.
I guess I'm just, I'm just kind of brainstorming.
Brainstorming, great, okay.
Yeah, thinking
Okay.
of ideas like how can I really, make that happen.
Okay, awesome. Okay, so you're thinking about how to make it happen, and if you didn't know how it was going to happen, and it magically showed up where you solved this anger or whatever this is, whatever else is you said or didn't know is there, or already know or whatever. If you solved it and then flowed freely towards that life, the mental health work, the outdoor work, doing what you're here to do, what would that do for you?
I'm not sure.
You're not sure? Okay. It's okay. Perfect, honest answer. Okay, so now let's do this peace process thing. So, but you've zeroed in on this thing, what you really want and what's in the way, and you're kind of going like, like calculating like what's going on, what do you need to do, how do you get there, what would it be like if you had it. So what I want you to do, I always like to touch people, but I think I'm gonna not do that so that you can see how powerful you are. Although I can do this at a distance too. So what I want you to do, what I invite everybody to do is to, whatever you pulled up is there. It's up on the screen. And so what you can do now in the next few moments is let all that go for a moment, and it's already pulled up, and just scan your body and notice what's happening in your body right now. And you might think like, oh, I've got anger. But instead of, that's a judgment about it. What does it feel like physically in your body? So is there twisting somewhere? Is there pressure somewhere? Is there pain? Is there stabbing pain, throbbing pain? Is it dull, aching? Is it moving? Is it still? Is it dense? So what's happening in your body right now, Greg? Just the physical.
I do feel like I'm tensing a little bit through my abdomen. I feel like I'm like maybe protecting something.
Okay.
I do feel like the tension the kind of the low back tension, which is kind of like and hip. I feel a lot of
so you feel
tightness
that right
in my
now?
hips.
Okay, awesome.
I actually feel that loosening a bit.
Oh, loosening. Okay, but you feel a tension here.
I do feel like I'm like.
Okay. Good work.
I'm guarding.
Okay. So if you didn't have to know what it was or what it's about, what does it feel like, that tension? Like, what's the physical feeling of that?
It's hard to elaborate beyond tension. I mean, I think just like a tightness,
tight.
a restriction of movement.
Okay. How big is it?
In terms of,
is it like this big, or is it this big, or like how big an area is tense? About that big? Okay. And then is it moving or is it not moving?
It's not moving.
It's not moving. And is there a density to it or not? No?
I wouldn't say so.
Okay.
no.
And the tension, is it twisty at all or not?
Not so much twisty as elasticy.
Elasticy, okay. And go ahead and go to the most intense part of the most intense part with your attention. With your attention, go to the most intense part. And right now, your assignment is to just stay out of the mind, stay out of the meaning. Don't need to call it any particular kind of condition or what it means or what it's about, but just stay with your attention right on what it actually feels like right now. If you didn't have words, what does it feel like? And keep your attention right on that spot, right on that feeling. That's it. That's it. And see if you can find the most intense part of the most intense part. And put your attention like a finger right in the most intense part of the most intense part. That's it. And just stay with it. Just be with it. Give it space to be whatever it is. You're not trying to change it. You're not trying to make it go away. It might get worse or it might get better. Either one is good. It might move. It might go away and then show up somewhere else in a different way. But just keep your attention just on the physical. And whenever you catch yourself going into story, like it means this or it's that or it's this condition or it has to do with this, just come back gently to what does it feel like right now, physically. That's it. And what is happening in your body right now?
It's hard to describe.
That's okay. And it might not have words, but can you feel a physical sensation in that part of your body, or has it moved, or is it?
It has moved. It was shifted a bit.
It shifted. What is it doing now?
It's strange, but it feels like like an old back injury, like a little heat, like a little bit more like an acute, like a real physical injury, which I know I know I'm fine. I know that's not what it is.
But you feel like a little. So if you didn't have to name it, it feels just what it feels like. Is it hot? And
yes.
Is it a line or is it an area or?
It's just like a little hot spot.
Hot spot. And go ahead and put your attention right on the most intense part of the most intense part. It's the only thing you have to do. It's simple, but the hard part is just keeping it simple and just keep your attention right in the hottest part of the hottest part. That's it. And then that part, give it love. Just give it unconditional love. Just by thinking unconditional love. Unconditional. It's not trying to save it. It's not trying to change it. It's not trying to make it go away. Not trying to fix it. And then bring your attention back to, okay, where is it and what does it feel like? And put your attention right into the center of it. Kind of like you had a little needle and you could drop just a drop of your awareness in that center area and feel it from there. That's it. That's it. You're doing great. And what's happening in your body right now?
seems to have gone.
It's gone, so you don't feel that.
I don't.
Okay, and then do you feel the tension?
Not in the same way, no.
What do you feel? What's happening now?
I do. It sounds silly, but I do feel like this tightness in my chest and shoulders that wasn't there before.
Isn't that wild? Okay, good job. You're doing great. So keep your attention on that now. So as you're going to keep doing this, just your job right now is just to keep your attention purely on what the physical sensation is, what's happening in your body. So if it moved to the chest, you move your attention to the chest and just feel it directly without words. Like you don't have to call it a strain or spasm. It's like, oh, it's tight or it's throbby or it's painful or it's just keep your attention on that. So and while you do that, I'll tell you some stuff. So these things, like my pattern that came in that kept attacking me throughout the years, and other things like that, of course, they came in all sorts of ways, right? Like it could have come in before birth. Your mom might have been thinking a certain way and having certain emotions, and then something happened and you're in the womb. How would you ever know what to do to fix that? And then you come out and you got this thing that happened, and maybe the parents acted a certain way, and then there you are, and then it happens later with a boyfriend or a girlfriend in a different way, and it goes in all these convoluted ways. And yeah, you can try to unravel it, but what's cool is it's written in the body, right? And so if you keep your attention on purely the physical and catch yourself when you go into any kind of story of what it means or how to fix it or why you have it or any of that, just notice when you're doing that and go back to physically, what are you feeling in your body? Your body will burn it out in the best way that it is for you. Isn't that cool? Like it started here, it started there, now it's over here. So whatever it is, the whole story without the words shows up as this feeling thing. And if you just stay present to it, your attention is what burns it off. Just your attention, just keeping your attention on it, just consciousness. So, okay, so you're doing great. So give us the report. What's happening in your body?
About the same.
So it's chest things?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and where's the most intense part of it?
I guess
Right there?
yeah.
Okay, and what does it feel like? What's happening in there?
It's hard because when I try to pay attention to it, it seems like it wants to move.
Awesome,
It
perfect. Okay, tell us where it went to.
It went back to
Okay,
the low back.
cool. So you don't have to try to keep it there. Yeah, if it moves, then that's what's happening in your body. It's like, oh, it moved. Okay, and so now in your low back, pay attention to that. You could be going really quickly, right? Like, do. So what are you feeling in your body now? Where is it happening now? Where's something happening? If something is happening.
The low back is clear again, and I just feel a little bit tight.
Okay,
up,
so go back up here. Isn't this cool? So it's your being showing you the way out, and the way you do it is you just keep your attention on what's actually happening right now, staying out of story. You give it love, unconditional love. Okay, now I'm going to check in. So is this a good place to check in? Yeah, a good place to check in. Is it done? No. Done for now? No, it's still going. You're still going. So keep on it. In fact, I think this is good your time. What's happening now? Tedious, huh? Except cool, because it's like the hard part is to keep on it, because you're like you want to make it about something, or you get bored. It's like, golly, can we really do something around here? And so that's the hard part. But you're doing it.
Yeah, I wondered if you had any guidance for how to, send it love. Like, is there a visual?
No, just whatever. That's almost just like just say it and it'll happen. You just kind of, because you really know you want to do it, and so the how doesn't matter. It's just like you could just say unconditional love. You could go like, here you go. Use Harry Potter and unconditional love. There. or bring a little kid into it.
So staying out of story is hard. Right?
It's hard, right?
Like
Yeah.
Thinking is
Yeah.
habitual.
So let's check in. So now, when you think of your self-actualized work, doing what you're here to do, your purpose, and outdoors, mental health, your version of it, your way. When you think of that now, how does it feel? Like, just because how does it feel?
Feels easy.
Is that different than when you first got up? Like when you thought about that life?
Yeah, it's very easy to get stuck on all the barriers and.
So what was it like when you were thinking about that before, and now it feels, like you said, it feels easy now? What's the difference in the way it feels to you? This idea of like this kind of life of outdoors, mental health stuff for people your way.
It's hard to articulate, but I do feel like less sort of angry with the obstacles in the way, and it seems more like
That's cool.
Like it's sort of, this is kind of part of the like the journey, right? Like all the frustration I have, like with working for an agency that just mountains of paperwork and giant caseloads, and
So it feels different emotionally right now when you think of this thing, somehow different.
it does. It seems I think the struggles seem less
Isn't that interesting?
important.
Okay,
It's
cool. Awesome. Okay, so now we didn't test. I usually test and retest physical things. You guys have seen me before. It's like test what's different afterwards, but just walk around and see how the world looks to you. Let you out in that area and then come back and just kind of check it out. So that's the hard part, huh? Like you got to like stay in this thing where you don't get to think. You just get to feel this thing, but not feel like anxiety or anger or frustration. You get to just feel it directly without the words. And the crazy thing is that shifts stuff so fast. It's like incredible. And so, so I want to thank Christian Michelson for showing me that. And then for telling me all about all the teachers, and then all my clients that have told me, oh yeah, but it's also from these old ancient traditions. It's like coolness. like, spread the love, right? So yeah. And with my clients, like I was doing something called Instant Miracle and lots of training to access a space of potential for somebody. So that's what I was doing. But Greg was doing something that's really powerful that he now can do and keep doing. And just whenever there's some kind of button that shows up, like, all the paperwork, or like, oh God, then you go, okay, there it is. It's right up in center. And so what do? You go feel it directly, but not like the anger or the frustration, but the tightness, the pain, the pressure, and you just follow it. And his was really cool. It went all over the place, so much that he was like, well, it's not there anymore, but it, almost like, shouldn't it just stay here so I can work on it? It's like, no, it's going to unravel. Kind of like you're holding a telephone pole, the old telephones, and then the thing unravels because you're holding it. So how did it feel walking around?
It felt good, actually. Yeah.
Like different, or just anything you could notice or tell us?
I don't know. I do feel energized in a way. I do feel like taller, like lighter. I feel good. Like
you do look a little taller.
The sciatica is for the moment. It's gone. It does. It does sometimes disappear.
Yeah.
It is kind of an intermittent type condition. It is definitely not present at the moment, and so that's
coolness.
That's always nice. It is really hard to.
Yeah, what was your experience of trying to stay on task like that?
I kept wanting to sort of visualize and kind of, like imagine I could see inside my body and like see, the muscles and vertebrae and nerves, and like I wanted to really I wanted to really have like a visual focus to kind of to ground myself to the physical, to stay out of the story about what it means or where it's from, or is this just a meaningful shift, or just sort of the dance of intermittent pain, or
so you were right. Is it just kind of like doing its thing and it's not going to change anything, but you're walking around taller and more energized and lighter, so what you might want to do is just let go of even needing to see anything or to get like how to do anything, and just feel it directly, like, oh, you did a good job. Like, it's tension, it's tightness, it's burning. Those are the things you're gonna do, and you don't have to see it. But yeah, cool. Thanks, man.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, we'll check in a little bit and see how it is. Notice how it is to sit, and then just kind of hang out, and of course notice what it's like the rest of the night, tomorrow, what work is like. People might be different at work. Might be different. So it'll be cool to see. How's everybody doing? Is this valuable so far?
Yeah, very.
It's cool, huh?
Yeah.
Thanks. Yeah, I thought you'd like it. I thought it was really cool too. Let's see. Do you have anything to say? You almost look like you want to say something. No. Okay. I've got a gift for you at the end. So, but I would like to work on Don. Is it okay if I work on Don for a minute?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. Do you want me to? Do you want to come up here, or do you want to? Because you don't have to stay up. So, would sitting on a stool be better?
Might be.
Okay. So, I know Don's story. If you guys ever watch our YouTube stuff, Don and I have a thing called Miracles, Magic, and Coffee. It's really cool. Let's see, how do I do this? And so Don had an interesting experience. Can I just tell your story a little bit?
Sure.
Don had a motorcycle wreck, and then went away for a while. And when he came back, he's like, "Oh my God, I've been over on the other side." So, and then he tells these cool stories about what it's like, and it's helped me a lot. So I think I've interviewed Don probably like 5 times, something like that, and each time is just so cool. So it's on my YouTube, Ralph Havens, Beyond Limits with Ralph Havens, and you can find it on YouTube, and go listen to Don. It's helped a lot of people. We get lots of good comments of stuff. So that's that. And let me just see. Let's go out of story. Now, I could listen to you forever, but let's go. Let's just check in. Like, if you had a magic, you actually did have the magic wand. You were on the other side. you've told me about it, what it's like over there.
Yeah.
If you if you could get anything you want at this point now, anything you want to say about like, okay, you know what I would like to have? Here's what I want. And let us know anything that you feel comfortable sharing.
Two things come up right off the bat, and it's getting my body back, my strength back, because everything atrophied so much during that process, and flexibility.
Strength
it's like
and flexibility.
Being able to bend my knee again and
Bend the knee.
get this going again. My hip where the prosthetic got put. And the toll that took on us financially. And so it's getting that back together to where there's a nice smooth flow going, to where we can spend our time doing the things that we want to do. And traveling again, and just talking with people, hanging out, doing what I've done for 50 years.
Yeah. You used to have a healing arts practice in Vancouver, right? And then you still do stuff here. Yeah.
And it feels like right now, it feels like there's, at this particular time with what's happening energetically, it feels like there's just been some major shifts that have gone on just in the last couple of months or so. And it just keeps intensifying. And it feels like it's right there. And it's taking a lot of patience to sort of hang out with it.
It's taking a lot of your patience to hang out with it?
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
Because I'm feeling this has been going on too long.
Okay, I got you.
I'm through with it. It's like that kind of.
Okay, if you had it just the way you want it, and I know Grace can show it differently, and it can go a different way that's even cooler and all that kind of stuff, and it can change. But right now, as you sit here, if you could have it just the way you want it, the money, the flow, back to traveling, the hip and the knee working like you want to have it, tell me about that life. What would you be getting having that? And then the energetic shifts in the world where it was like, oh right, it's happening. Tell me what life would be like. What would be going on? What would you have?
I'm having when I first started off with this work, I could see what was possible. And after all these years, it's a little bit of a challenge really letting it in, that we're there now, that it's happening now, that we're right on the edge of moving into a space that I didn't think I'd ever seen in my lifetime.
So would you like to have that, like we've moved through it? Yeah, okay. And if you had that, what would life be like for you?
It would be a whole lot freer than it is right now. Be more fluid. I'd be able to move more fluidly.
So physically, you could move.
Physically, and I think on a lot of other levels as well. I mean, it's almost like being in a holding pattern. There was only so
you feel
much
like
you
you're
could
waiting,
say.
sort of.
Yeah, all this time, and another piece of it is the battle.
Like your internal battle?
It's reflected both ways.
Okay.
But it's like when I first started off with this, I mean, there wasn't anything that I could do that didn't get poo-pooed.
Oh,
That didn't, and it was like, and needing to sort of defend yourself against that constantly. So that was the sort of battle mode. And it's like so much that's gone, and yet there's a part of me that still thinks it needs to do a little battle,
okay,
to
okay,
protect itself.
okay. Let me ask you this. Would you want to ride your motorcycle again?
Impossible because it's gone.
It's gone. would you want to ride
Would
Lynn's
I wanna-
motorcycle again?
Well, that's been sitting there ever since the crash.
Okay,
and
okay.
That I'd like to, I need to ride around the block at least.
Okay, okay.
Just
That would
get
be
over
something
it.
useful?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
How good would the hip and the knee have to be for that?
It doesn't have a long ways to go.
Awesome. Okay.
Yeah,
So just a
but
little
it's,
bit, okay.
it's, I need,
Let me ask you this. Let's just do it. Let's go. Yeah, let's go do it. So can you get a sense of what life would be like? Just go inside and get a sense of what life would be like for you having what you want at this point. You described like an energetic shift with the world and your hip and knee moving better and more money to travel. Get a sense of, tell me when you have that pulled up on your screen.
mhm. Okay.
You got it?
Yeah.
Okay. And now we're going to go, I can go deep with you, right? Okay. Right? Is it okay?
Go where you want.
Okay, here goes. Okay. Now, just to let you know, I did a version of this morning for myself. So just, so you know, I don't do these things lightly.
Mhm.
Okay. So imagine it doesn't work. And you don't get better with your hip and knee, and you don't ride the motorcycle, and the energetic shift doesn't happen. Imagine that for a moment. And I'll show you what's going on here. You're doing great. Just imagine like, oh my God, it's coming to an end and it didn't work. Didn't get the money, didn't get to travel. And then make it even worse. Okay, now let that go. And now, staying out of story, staying out of meaning, staying out of any of your work that you've done in the past, check in with your body, physical body, and notice what's happening in your body right now. And what is happening in your body right now?
Feels like, feels like the energy's moving better.
Just point to a part of your body, or tell me a part of your body that you're noticing something.
I'm aware of my foot and ankle, particularly my ankle.
Okay, and keeping your attention on that foot and ankle for the moment, what's the physical sensation in that foot and ankle?
It's, I don't know how to describe it other than it's highlighted. It's like there's tingling.
Tingling, okay.
And this is something interesting that this comes up because it's something that
Okay, I'm going to stop you. Just stop you.
Okay.
Go right to the feeling. You're going to
Yeah.
go to this. You're going to shift this, man.
Okay.
So stay in the feeling. Stay out of any kind of meaning, any kind of interesting. It's just a feeling. Yeah. Stay right in this very center with your attention of the most intense part of whatever that feeling is, whatever's already actually there. Stay there. That's it. That's it. Stay right in it. Whenever you catch yourself, whenever you notice yourself thinking it's something or it means something, just gently bring yourself back to what's actually happening right now, the physical feeling. That's it. That's it. And give it unconditional love, but don't give it too hard. Just like plop, unconditional love, plop, plop, is. And then very quickly come back to what is happening in your body. What's the physical feeling? Stay present to it. Give it space to be whatever it is. You're not trying to change it. It can get worse, it can get better, it can move, it can go away, it's all good. And your assignment is to just keep yourself aware with attention on what's happening in your body. And tell me what is happening in your body right now.
It's like two different things are happening in that same area. One is it's kind of cooling down, and at the same time it's moved over to the side, and it's intensifying a bit.
Okay, and go to the intensifying part and go right to the most intense part of it with your attention. Not trying to change it, just to experience what's actually already there. That's it. That's it. And you can give it love, not change it, just to be there with it. Keeping your attention on the most intense part. And what's happening now, Don?
It feels like a lot of it is released, and there's just sort of like a core of it.
And go right into the most intense part of that core. In fact, if it's a core, see if you can go in one end of the core, it's like a tube, and go right into the center of it, or the part that's the most intense.
Mm-hmm.
Just kind of hang out there with your attention. That's it. That's it. And what's happening now?
It's kind of like it's moved over to the other side.
Okay.
It was, yeah.
So follow it on over there. Give it love, and just give it space to do whatever it wants to do. And then when you think of traveling and money and what it would feel like to have this energetic shift and visiting with people, hanging out, then notice what's happening in your body. What's happening in your body right now. That's it. That's it. And what is happening in your body right now?
That's like the whole leg of the outside is highlighted.
And highlighted, what does that feel like?
Tingly.
Tingly, okay.
And there's also something going on right at the hip, right at the ball joint there.
What does that feel like?
Getting a little intense,
Like a pain?
almost pain.
Put a little finger of intention right into the middle of that. Stay right with it. Go, if there's a seam in there that you can get your seam of intention, like a fingernail in, and go right to the center of that most intense part. There you go. Experience that, just what's already there. And what's happening now?
It's intensifying.
So it's good if it's going up, it's good if it's going down. You're burning through it. Lightning speed. Awesome. And now, when you think of the energetic shift and what might happen or not happen, or it's going to happen, think about money and travel, having a hip and knee that work really well. When you think of that now, how does that feel to you? Just what's the charge on that right now?
In the hip, you mean?
Oh, just in general, like when you think of like those things you talked about, like if you were just a regular, we were just having a, hey, how do you feel about that right now, Don?
It feels a little remote.
Remote.
Yeah.
Is that different than before when you were talking about it?
Yeah.
Okay. And go ahead and walk around a little, just kind of check in and see how you feel. Just kind of do a little walk around. Yeah. And the reason I'm checking in, I'm getting a one of my indicators that it's good. It's like it's done. Like that's weird. That's not quite the right word, but it's like it's complete. It's complete. And so we'll get to see how life goes. And plus we have a new skill. Let's see how it is. So how are you doing? How was that walk?
It was fine.
Was it any different or same, or can you tell, or hard to tell?
Kind of felt like when I have my best days.
So it's like a best day feeling?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
good. So yeah, thanks, Don. Yeah,
Okay.
so yeah, I'll let you
Okay.
take a rest in the chair there. That's good. So was that useful to see that?
Yeah.
What was the most valuable part of that, do you guys think? Just curious. Anyone that
For
wants
me, it was putting the focus on where the feeling was inside my body.
Yeah. That's the best part. That's it. Yeah. Cool.
And the reminder to stay out of the story. Because that, as long as we're in the story, then we're not focused on the feeling and resolving it.
Yeah. Was it hard to stay in the feeling? What was your experience?
It can be.
It can be. Okay.
It's easy to get distracted.
Okay. It's okay. Yeah, my experience too. That's why it's kind of useful to have a little recording of this too, so that you could have somebody saying, okay, what's happening in your body now? So, yeah. With my clients, I like to make a little thing. I say, don't talk during this part, so that you have a little recording of just the thing just for you. And plus I've made a few other ones I can just give people so that they could loop them and just because, yeah, it's easy to go start to daydream or to like think about what's for lunch or like, oh, I've got to get ready for work or how much time am I wasting here? And then, so if somebody keeps you on track, it's good. And then my experience is like Don and Greg both felt physically different. Physically, it gets different. And while this morning I had a really big epiphany during my thing, and I could tell you the story, except it's a story. And And I realized, I was so excited to tell Jen, like, oh my God, this is what's going on right now. And so it was kind of cool to see that it kind of all fit together. But there's so many times that people get these things and it fits together really nicely intellectually, and like, oh, I know why I'm screwed up. But there's still, it's the booby prize, right? Because it's like you still got the problem. And so it's cool to have the epiphanies, but man, this is the most direct way I've seen so far. So again, thank you to my guy that showed me, Christian Michelson, and then all the teachers that showed everybody over the thousands of years of this thing that's like so easy. I missed it for a long time. Okay, so since you guys have been here for quite a while, 2 hour and a half, so good work, and I want to offer you an hour of my time. It really turns into about an hour and a half. As you can tell, it takes a little while, sometimes an hour, a little over an hour, for a healthy, happy, and whole breakthrough session. We would go through the same kind of things. We wouldn't do the peace process quite as much like that. But what I found really useful is this process of getting really clear about what you want. And we did a little bit with Greg and Don. I would do more in your session, less of the peace process, more of this other part, to get really clear about what you really, really want, what it's really about. Like, yeah, you want to get rid of this condition, and yeah, you want to live like this, and you want this to happen, and you want this in your life. And then as you get clearer and clearer what it's really about, it's like, oh, that's what I really want. And then there's a real magic that starts to happen, because your being goes, oh, that's it. I had a woman that 36 years old from a long ways away, and she's seeing me over Skype, and I said, what do you find most valuable? And she goes, I found that I actually do have a passion. She didn't think she had a passion. She was always like everybody else has a passion for something. They did, if they had the money and the time, they would do it. But I don't have that. And after one of these sessions, she realized, oh my God, I actually do have a passion. Another woman that had a very significant debilitating condition, and after going through all this, I asked her, what's the most valuable part? And she said, up until 20 minutes ago, I didn't know if I really wanted to live anymore. Mm-hmm. Pretty useful, huh? So I'm offering a session where you can come hang out with me and get really clear about what it is you really want and what's in the way, and what impact it would be to have this shifted. So these things in the way were no longer in the way, and you could flow towards what you really, really want. And like, Greg here and Don, you'll leave feeling energized and inspired, and you'll be like, I'm ready to do this, like what you want. So I'm offering that to you. I'm going to be going to a class this next, actually I leave Wednesday, so I won't be back till Sunday, but I've decided for the next couple of weeks, 2 or 3 weeks, I'm going to open it up, and if you want in, you can come in. And if a lot of people are on and they all want in, then there might be a waiting list, right, to like come in to see me. But I'm offering that to you. So I got some forms that you can leave me your email if you want, or phone number, or we can just look right now and I can put you on for a time. So does that sound
Wonderful.
good, huh?
Yeah.
It's awesome. Yeah, awesome. You're welcome. All right. So let me think if there's anything else. I think that's pretty good. So if you have any questions, you can ask now, or you can wait till I turn this off too. And anybody on that's watching, Ralph at ralphhavens.com, and you can email me any questions, or go find me on Facebook, Ralph Havens, or autoimmuneanswers.com. So I got that website. Was that a cool one or what? So anyway, yeah, message me, let me know. Goodbye, Alan. Let me know what you guys think, what was valuable to you guys, and then, yeah, let me know if you want a free coaching session, and we'll go through there. Was this is different than my other ones, huh, Katie?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Pretty cool, huh? Cool. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and turn this off so that, let's see. Goodbye, everybody.
Mm.